we'll start with the fundamental principle of counting. Now, what is the fundamental principle of counting? If a task, if task one, say, if task one can be done in say n1 ways, task 2 can be done in n2 ways, task 3 can be done in n3 ways, and so on, then task 1 and task 2 and task 3 and so on up till say task R can be done in n1 into n2 into n3 into up till nr ways. Let's take an example to clarify things. Suppose if I can go from, let's say I can go from Mumbai, the current name is Mumbai, to Goa in 3 ways, that is by bus, by train, or air, or by air. Okay. And if I can go from Goa to Bangalore in say 4 ways, that is, let's say I can go from Goa to Bangalore say by cycling, I can go by air, I can go by train, or I can go by car. 4 ways, right? And here I can go from Mumbai to Goa only in 3 ways. Therefore, from Mumbai to Bangalore, in how many ways can I go? Therefore, I can go from Mumbai to Bangalore via Goa in how many ways? First, you can go in 3 ways from Mumbai to Goa, and from Goa to Bangalore, you can go in 4 ways, which is equal to 12 ways. This is what we call the fundamental principle of counting. Okay. So, and actually means a multiplication. Okay, just remember this. And means a multiplication. So this is what we must know for in order to solve the current problems. Let's see the first problem here. If you read the first problem, it states how many words with or without meaning can be formed with 3 distinct letters of the English alphabet. How many alphabets are there in the English? How many alphabets are there in English?
26.
26. Number of alphabets here is equal to 26, right? So now I have to form 3 letter words, right? 3 letters with or without meaning, right? It can be anything. It can be ABC. It can be TAC. It can be XCA, right? Fine. Now the question is with or without repetition. That means um, that means here in the first place, out of the 26 alphabets, I can place any of the alphabets A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So number of ways, number of ways of putting, let's call this place 1. Let's call this place 2. And let's call this place 3. Number of ways of putting any of the 26 alphabets in place 1. And how many ways can I put? I can either put A or B or C or D and so on. So I can put it in 26 ways, right? So place 1 is done. That means now place 1 is occupied. I have put any of the letters A or B or C or D up till Z. Now look at place 2. In how many ways can I place the remaining alphabets? How many alphabets remaining?
25.
25. So any of the 25 alphabets. I don't know which alphabet I have put, but I have put one alphabet definitely. So that means 25 alphabets are left in place 2 is equal to 25. And in place 3,
24.
24 alphabets now left. Any of the 24 alphabets in place 3 is equal to 24. Therefore, number of ways of, hence, number of words of 3 distinct letters. That means letters are not repeated. Okay. That means distinct means not repeated. That means I have put ABC here. I have put TAC here. All 3 are different, right? TAC is different. XCA are different, right? Cannot have a word of this form. AAX. I cannot have this because I'm repeating. Yes, all of you can hear me and see the screen.
Yes, sir. Now, sir.
Okay, okay. Screen share just went. Anyway, number of words of 3 distinct letters. As I told you that you cannot have AAX because A you are repeating there in this. Okay, so you cannot have this combination. So number of letters of three distinct letters that can be formed without repetition, obviously, is equal to, first you are putting in 26 ways. Next you are putting in 25 ways. Next you are putting in 24 ways. From the fundamental principle of counting, you should put a multiplication sign because you're doing there is an and in between. First place and second place and third place. So this will give you 15,600. Clear with fundamental principle of counting? Move on to the next problem. Let us now start with the second one. How many integers of 4 digits can be formed with the digits 0, 1, 3, 5, 6, assuming no repetitions? Okay, 4 digits. Integers of 4 digits. Okay, so let's call this place 1, place 2, place 3, or let's call this thousands place because this is an integer, thousands place. This is your hundreds place. Tens place. And this is your units place. Okay. So how many integers of 4 digits can be formed? So how many integers are there? Number of digits. The digits are 0, 1 up till 9. Zero, 1, 2, 3, and up till 9. So number of digits here are how many? 10, right? So these 10 digits you will have to put in the 4 places. Okay. How will you put? In the thousands place. In how many ways can you put the digits? In a 1000 place, you have got 10 digits to put. See, 0 you cannot put, right? 0 you cannot put it here because it will become a 3-digit number, right? Okay, the digits are not from 0 to, the digits are given here. Okay. Digits are 0, 1, 3, 5, and 6. Only 5 digits are given. Only you can place only these 5 digits, not all the digits. Okay, so this is number of digits is 5. Okay, now in the thousands place, you cannot place a 0. That means you can place a 1 or 3 or 5 or 6. So number of ways in which thousands place can be occupied is equal to how many ways? Either you can put a 1 or a 3. Now or means plus, remember. Okay, so 1 you can put, or you can put a 3, or you can put a 5, or you can put a 6. So you can place it in 4 ways, right?
Yes, sir.
Number of ways in which hundreds place can be occupied. Now see, repetitions are not allowed. See, here it is given no repetitions. That means this place is already occupied, right? And you cannot place a 0. How many digits left? You cannot place a 0. 0 you cannot place here, right? And you have already put some digit here apart from 0. How many digits have you now have you left here?
3.
There are 3 digits that are left, right? But you
Yes.
can also put a 0 here, isn't it? You can put a 0 here. That means 4 digits are left, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So in 4 ways. Let's write it here in brackets. You can put a 1 or 3 or 5 or 6. And here you can put 0 or 1 or I think you can put it in many ways. Let's not write it. You can put in 3 or 4 ways. But the point here is that you cannot put a 0 in the first place. You can put a 0 in the next place. That is in the hundreds place you can put, right? So still 4 digits are there. So number of ways. Now let's come to the tens place. Number of ways in which tens place can be occupied. How many ways? You can put a 0. Now remember, 2 places have already been occupied. 2 places have already been occupied, right? So how many digits left with you? Only 3 digits left, isn't it? So it can be occupied in
Yes,
3
sir.
ways. And now the units place. Number of ways in which the units place can be occupied. Now see, 3 places you have already exhausted, right? This place, this place, this place, right? You have exhausted. So how many digits left? Only 2 digits left, right? So you can place it only in 2 ways. So 2 ways. So in how many ways can you form the integer? Therefore, number of ways of forming an integer of 4 digits is equal to 4 ways into 4 ways into 3 ways into 2 ways. Because you can put in 4 ways in the thousands place, and 4 ways in the hundreds place, and 3 ways in the tens place, and 2 ways in the units place, right? So this should come to 96. Clear with this? From the fundamental principle of counting. Any question here? Move on to the next one. How many 2-digit numbers can be formed with the digits? The digits given here are you can only form the number with these digits 8, 1, 3, 5, and 4. How many 2-digit numbers can you form from these digits? 2-digit numbers we want to form from these digits. So in how many ways can you do? In the first place, in how many ways can you put? How many digits are there? How many digits given to you? 5 digits, right? So number of ways in which the tens place can be occupied. Now the first question is when repetition of digits is allowed. Okay, that means I can have a number of the form 55, or I can have a number of the form say 44. You understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
You can repeat the digits. So a number of ways in which the tens place can be occupied. You can place, you can occupy, how many digits are there? 5 digits. You can, so the tens place can be occupied in 5 ways.
5
Right.
ways. Yes, sir.
Number of ways in which the units place can be occupied. How many ways can you do it? Repetition of digits is allowed. That means again in 5 ways you can do. Hence, number of ways of forming 2-digit numbers with repetition of digits. Five into 5, right? 25.
Yes, sir.
So this is with repetition. Now we come to without repetition. Now again you have 2 places, right? So number of ways in which the tens place can be occupied. And how many ways can you occupy the tens place? 5 digits are given, so 5 ways.
5 ways. Yes, sir.
Where there is no zero. So if there was a zero, you could not include zero in that place, because if you put zero, it will become a single digit number, right? So number of ways in which the units place units place can be occupied Now see, I have already consumed this place, right? With any of the 4 digits. How many digits remaining? Because repetitions are not allowed, I have to exclude that digit, right? So how many ways? 4 ways.
4 ways.
So hence, number of ways of forming 2-digit numbers without repetition of digits. 5 into 4, isn't it? Equal to 20.
Yes, sir.
So that is the difference. Okay. So that is your fundamental principle of counting. We now move on to the next part of this topic before actually moving into permutations, which is called the definition of factorial of a number. Okay. So how do you define the factorial of a number and what is the notation? Factorial of a number. The factorial of a number n is defined as n into n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, and this will continue till 3 into 2 into 1, the product of all these. For example, if you have factorial 5, okay, you can write this as 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Okay, so you have factorial 10. This is 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 and so on up till 3 into 2 into 1. Clear? This is what we define as the factorial of a number. The factorial of a number is also denoted by this symbol, factorial 5. Factorial 5 is also written as, you can either write factorial 5 with an exclamation or in this manner. Similarly, factorial n, you can write in this way or you can write it in this way. Okay. So that is what, but the meaning remains the same. The definition remains the same. Okay. This is what is meant by the factorial of a number. Next, we come to the properties of factorial of a number. Properties of factorial. In the properties of factorial, the first property is that 0 factorial is defined as 1. Okay. And secondly, you have factorial n. This is very important property, that factorial n can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial, which can also be written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial, which can also be written as n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 factorial, and so on. Example, suppose I have factorial 6. Factorial 6 can be written as 6 into 5 factorial, which can also be written as 6 into 5 into 4 factorial, which can also be written as 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 factorial, and so on. It can also be written as 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 factorial, which can also be written as 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 factorial, or simply 1. Okay. Clear with this property? Is this clear? Is this property clear? We shall be using this in our sums. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the sums now, based on these properties. First question is a very easy question. We need to convert this product to a factorial. So what is the product here? 7 into 8 into 9, 10, and we write a 1 here in the denominator because we shall be using this. Okay, so this is a given product. Now we convert the numerator to a factorial. How do you convert? See, it starts from 7. So I put this product here, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6. I insert this product and the rest I write as it is. And since I'm multiplying the numerator by this product, I also need to multiply the denominator also by this product. Okay. So what does this become? This, if you see entire, this is a product of from 1 to 15. So this becomes factorial 15. And here this is a product from 1 to 6. So this becomes factorial 6. Okay. Remember this. We shall be using this in our sums later on. Next sum. Number 2. If 1 by 9 factorial plus 1 by 10 factorial is equal to x by 11 factorial. Find x. Okay. So now see, in this kind of a sum, we shall use the second property of the factorial. See, 9 is a lower number, you keep it as it is. 10 is the higher number, right? So you convert 10 factorial to 10 into 9 factorial. Okay. And you convert 11 to 11 into 10 into 9 factorial. Right? Now from the left hand side, you can take 1 by 9 factorial common. So what are you left with? 1 plus 1 by 10 here. And here what are you left with? 11 into 10 into 9 factorial. Right? So this 9 factorial cancels. And you take the LCM here, you get 10 plus 1 by 10 is equal to x by 110. Now this is a simple equation which you can solve. 11 by 10 is equal to x by 110. So that means 11 into cross multiply is equal to 10x. 11 into 110. That means x is equal to 11 into 110 divided by 10. This cancels, you get 121 as your answer. So the value of x is 121. Clear with this problem? Can I move on to the next one? Number 3, part 1. Solve for n. So what is the equation given here? Factorial n plus 1 is equal to 56 into factorial n minus 1. So now again you see n plus 1 is the bigger factorial, right? So you convert it, you use the property. N plus 1 factorial can be written as n plus 1 into n plus 1 minus 1 into n plus 1 minus 2 factorial. And this on the right hand side, we keep this as it is. So you get here n plus 1 into n minus 1 factorial is equal to 56 into n minus 1 factorial. Now you take everything on the left hand side. What do you get? N into n plus 1 into n minus 1 factorial minus 56 into n minus 1 factorial is equal to 0. So now you can take n minus 1 factorial common to get n into n plus 1 minus 56 is equal to 0. That means either n minus 1 factorial is equal to 0 or n into n plus 1 minus 56 is equal to 0. But n minus 1 factorial is not equal to 0, right? Can the value of factorial be equal to 0? No. This is not equal to 0. So therefore, this must be equal to 0. N into n plus 1 minus 56 must be equal to 0. Now you multiply and express this as a quadratic. So you get n square plus n minus 56 is equal to 0. So what are the factors here? 7 and 8, right? So plus 8 minus 8n. This should be, this is n into n minus 1. Yes, this should be n plus 8n minus 7n minus 56 is equal to 0. So this is n into n plus 8 minus 7 into n plus 8 equal to 0. That means n minus 7 into n minus 8, n plus 8 is equal to 0. That means either n is equal to 7 or n is equal to minus 8, which is not possible because we are only dealing with factorial of positive numbers. Hence, your value of n is 7. Is this clear? So I'll stop here.